Hey, welcome to the Fight Card. This is the show where we tell you all of the UFC bets you need to make for this weekend's card. UFC Charlotte. The main event is Rosenstrike Almeida. I'm your host, the J-Man, Jay Juggernaut. And we have, I'm going to start calling him the Fight Prophet. His picks were so hot last week. If you followed him, you made a lot of money. It is my main man, Garrett G-Money. How you doing, Garrett?
What's happening, man? How's it going?
You think we can keep this hot streak going?
I think so. I think we got enough to keep it going for this next weekend.
Okay, for the very first fight, we're looking at Means versus Morano. Means is plus 190. Morano is a pretty big favorite at minus 225. This is a tough one to pick, I think.
So this is a very tough one to pick. I mean, Tim Means, he's like 5-6 in his last 11, so kind of a 50-50 fighter. I think personally, though, this one will just be a points fight. I don't think either one of them are going to be going to the ground. If I had to guess, Morano by decision.
If you want to take Morano by points, plus 165. Will the fight go the distance? Yes is minus 120. No is minus 106. Morano is the guy that's going to win. That's probably a pretty decent bet, plus 165. All right, so I logged on to OddsJam to see what kind of odds we can get. And if you want Morano, the best bet is DraftKings, minus 215. Best bet for going the distance, minus 125 on WinBet, Caesars, and Bet Rivers. All right, for the next fight, we have Daniel Rodriguez versus Ian Gary. Rodriguez is a pretty big underdog at plus 240. Gary at minus 285. This line is really wide, and I'm kind of surprised by it. Garrett, what do you think about this one?
I'm very surprised by the line as well. Don't think this one is going to go to the ground. Don't think anybody's going to be getting tapped out. Honestly, I think Daniel Rodriguez, I think he's been in, I don't even know how many prison fights he's been in. He's just a very tough guy. I don't think he's getting knocked out. I think he has experience, 17-3. I wouldn't be surprised if this turns into almost like a striking clinic put on by Daniel Rodriguez, that he's showing him kind of the way around.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of funny. I was kind of thinking the same way. And if Rodriguez did win it, I think it would be by points.
He's coming off his loss against Neil Magny, got submitted, but I mean he has some.
He was winning that fight. Like, he could have beat Magny. And so what happened was Magny started taking him to the ground and started wrestling with him, and Rodriguez kind of gassed out. So I don't think Gary's going to do any wrestling like that. No. So Rodriguez is like kind of where he wants to be in this fight.
I agree.
All right, let me go to OddsJam and kind of see what the best odds we can get are. So for Rodriguez, just the Rodriguez money line, you can get him at plus 250 at WinBet, DraftKings, and Bet Rivers. And going the distance, Caesars has it at minus 130. So again, like a super like safe bet. Like I think it's definitely going to go the distance. And then it's up to the judges. So if you just want to bet safely, minus 130 going the distance, I think is a safe way to go.
Absolutely.
Okay. Daniel Rodriguez by points is plus 500. Okay, so even if you think Gary's going to win, he's probably going to win by points. Like, I don't think there's any way he's knocking Rodriguez out. So if you're even going to bet Gary, instead of getting the minus 285, you can get plus 135 for Gary to win by points, which is a much better bet. So even if you disagree with us and you think Gary's going to do it, bet Gary by points, plus 135. Like, do you think Gary would win like inside the distance?
No, because like I don't think he would knock out. I know he's got a pretty good amount of knockouts on him, but I don't think he'll be knocking out Daniel Rodriguez. Okay,
so next we have Anthony Smith versus Johnny Walker. This might be the best fight on the card. Right now, they have it as a coin flip, minus 110 each. Garrett, what do you think on Walker versus Smith?
I 100% agree. This is probably the best fight on the card. It's one I'm actually super excited for. This is one that I actually have a good feeling with. So Walker, first of all, he's huge for a light heavyweight, just long and big. He's got a 95% finish rate in his wins, and Smith has a 94% finish rate in his wins. So they finish people a lot, and they also both get finished a lot. So I don't think this one's going the distance between the two of them. Smith, he has 4 of his last 5 wins by submission. He is a very experienced grappler. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. He knows what he's doing on the ground. He doesn't necessarily go for takedowns, but when it goes to the ground, he's confident and he can secure the wins. So honestly, I really like the thought of a Smith submission. So I'm looking at it in Smith on DraftKings. A Smith win by knockouts of plus 300 and a submission is plus 350. But you're talking that he's taken down, he's gotten guys on the ground and he's been able to submit them pretty successfully.
I was thinking Smith inside the distance for sure. I was kind of leaning more towards knockout, but I think it could go either way. If Walker's going to win, it's going to be by knockout, so plus 170. Smith, it kind of splits up between knockout and submission because he's got 2 ways of winning. So Smith by knockout plus 310, Smith by submission plus 430. You can also do the double chance. So Anthony Smith by knockout or submission. So basically what you'd be betting is Smith inside the distance. You can get it at plus 140. So you don't want to bet Smith to win the fight at minus 110. If Smith's going to win, it's not going to be by decision. It would be by knockout or submission.
Correct.
You can get Anthony Smith by plus 140 if you think he's going to win the fight. If you think Walker's going to win, don't bet on his money line. Bet on Walker to win by KO because he's not going to win by any other method. So Walker by KO plus 170. So you've already gotten better odds than the minus 110.
I think Smith will take this one inside the distance for sure.
Okay, and now to the main event of UFC Fight Night Charlotte, Rozenstruik Almeida. This is the main event. Almeida is a huge favorite at minus 490. Rozenstruik plus 390. Garrett, what do you think about the main event?
Oh, I love the fight, first of all. I think it will be over inside of 2 rounds for sure, and I think Almeida will be taking it. I think he can kind of do whatever he wants. I know Rozenstruik's never been submitted, but Almeida's he's got a bunch of submission wins on him, and I don't think this one sees a 3rd round. And I do think that Almeida will even try to take this to the ground because of how experienced Rozenstruik is on his feet. I don't think he's going to want to mess with him up there. I think he'll want to get it to the ground and take control.
I agree with you. I think Almeida is definitely the favorite. He's probably going to win this fight. And so you have to look at your different options with him. You don't want to lay minus 490. So that's not something you want to do. So you want to figure out the best odds you can get for his most likely win conditions. Almeida to win by submission in round 1, plus 150. So that's where the odd makers are right now. They think Almeida is going to win by submission round 1 because that's plus 150. So if Rozenstruik can survive the first round, he'll get submitted in the second round. You can get Almeida to win by submission in round 2, plus 750. So I have OddsJam pulled up. Rozenstruik is, if you think he's going to win, you have plus 400 at DraftKings, but I'm going to show you a much better bet than that anyways. But Almeida, minus 500 is the best you can get right now at a few different sites. You don't want to lay minus 500 because I think Rozenstruik's got a chance. So you don't want to lay $50 to win $10. That's not how you make money. That's not how you make money betting on sports. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about Rozenstruik. I think he's got a chance. And if he has a chance, the only way he's going to do it, I think, is by a knockout. There's no way he's going to submit Almeida, and there's no way he's going to win by points. And if he does win by knockout, he's just going to catch him with a shot, and it would happen first or second round.
Yeah, he's got puncher's chance of winning, and that's kind of all I'm giving him.
If he did knock out Almeida, it would be in the first or second round because, as most people think, it's not even going to see a 3rd round, as Garrett said earlier. So Rozenstruik to win by KO in round 1, plus 1,100. Rozenstruik to win by KO in round 2, plus 1,800. Those would be literally the only 2 ways Rozenstruik would win. Don't pay plus 400 for Rozenstruik when you can get his best win conditions at plus 1,100 or plus 1,800. If you're going to put any money on him, that's how to do it.
I agree. Nothing crazy, too. Just a couple bucks, and a couple bucks there could take you quite a long ways.
Instead of betting the crazy, minus 550 or minus 500 on Almeida, you can get minus 370, and that's Almeida to win inside the distance by knockout or submission.
I think that throwing that in a parlay is the safest thing you could do for this whole card. I think that's brilliant right there.
Okay, so look what I just found on FanDuel. Almeida round 1, 2, or 3 minus 290. So again, another way of getting the odds down. So you've gotten that minus 500 favorite all the way down to minus 290.
And that's great right there. Because it works in with the odds. I don't think anybody thinks this fight's seen a 4th or 5th round. That's great. That's easy. That is easy money right there.
It really is. Now let's put together like a crazy, super sick parlay and see if we can hit one of these. So for this 5-leg parlay, Almeida to win in round 1, 2, or 3. Will the fight go the distance between Smith and Walker? No. Will the fight go the distance? Rodriguez-Gary? Yes. Oldberg to win by knockout or submission, so you have a double chance with that one. And the Carl Williams money line. So that 5-leg parlay comes in at a sick plus 451.
That's awesome. Those are great odds right there.
Okay, so these are the best bets we have for UFC Fight Night Charlotte. We have Morano by decision, Rodriguez by decision, Smith by sub, Almeida by KO or sub, and Almeida rounds 1, 2, or 3. All right, so those are the best bets. We want you to go out and make some money this weekend. And Garrett, thank you very much for joining me.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, Jason. I will see you next week, man.